Bruce Willis has just announced he's leaving Hollywood for good after being diagnosed with aphasia. Aphasia is a debilitating medical condition that can have awful effects on a person's ability to do simple tasks like write, speak, or even understand language, either written or verbal. It typically occurs after sustaining a head injury or having a stroke. In a statement posted on Instagram by the 67-year-old actor's family, they shared to Bruce's supporters that he'd been experiencing some problematic health issues in recent times and had received a diagnosis of aphasia, which already seems to be having an impact on his cognitive abilities. The statement confirmed Willis would be stepping away from the career that had meant so very much to him. After dropping that bombshell, Willis's family expressed that now is a challenging time for the family, and they are appreciative of Bruce's fans' continued support, compassion, and love. The post, which was signed by Willis's wife Emma Hemming, his ex-wife Demi Moore, and his 5 children, concluded by saying Bruce's family planned to live it up throughout his life-upending ordeal. Aphasia Explained. Aphasia is a condition that quite literally robs its sufferer from the ability to communicate. As we mentioned, it can impact their ability to speak, write, and comprehend language. While it does often occur after a head injury or stroke, it can also come on gradually, brought on by a slow-growing tumor of the brain or as a side effect of another degenerative disease. The severity of the condition depends on a handful of factors, including what's causing it and the extent of the damage to the sufferer's brain. Sometimes people make a full or partial recovery, while others are left with permanent disability. Symptoms include speaking in short, incomplete sentences, speaking sentences or phrases that make little sense, having to substitute words or sounds for others, speaking unrecognizable nonsense words, having trouble understanding other people's speech, and writing sentences that appear meaningless. The 3 types of aphasia. Expressive aphasia is a variant that involves a person's inability to express themselves. They might be able to understand what others are saying while struggling to convey their own thoughts. People with comprehensive aphasia may be able to speak fluently and easily, but often do so in long, complex sentences that make little sense to the listener. They also tend to struggle with understanding language spoken by others. The 3rd variety of the disease, global aphasia, is when the person has a hard time with both speaking and comprehending words and sentences. People with this kind of aphasia often have severe disabilities when it comes to expressing themselves and understanding others. How Bruce is coping so far. In recent months, Bruce Willis has been spotted frequently alongside his family. 2 years ago, he first learned he was battling early-onset memory loss. He's likely trying his best to make the most out of what little time he has left to enjoy unabated quality time with the ones he loves the most. It's also come to light that Willis recently sold his New York real estate holdings so he can live with his wife and children full-time in LA. Knowing that he's fading quickly, Emma and Willis's ex-wife Demi Moore, with whom he shares children, have made a truce of sorts so they can be there for Bruce during this challenging time. Over the holidays, Bruce spent time with Emma and their 2 daughters, Evelyn and Mabel, who are 6 and 8 respectively. Bruce has 3 children with Moore: Rumor, who's 32, Scout, who's 29, and 26-year-old Tallulah. In April of 2020, Bruce posed with Moore and Scout while wearing matching PJs during the COVID lockdown. Potential causes of Bruce's aphasia. At the moment, Willis's family has yet to reveal the cause of his aphasia, but it's known he has sustained numerous onset injuries throughout his career. In 2004, he sued the folks behind his 2003 action flick Tears of the Sun for injuries that occurred during production. The suit claimed Willis had suffered extreme physical, mental, and emotional pain. The incident happened roughly a year before the film hit theaters, when Willis was struck by a projectile in his forehead after a pyrotechnic detonation went wrong. Previously, Willis had lost 2/3 of his hearing after firing a machine gun loaded with excessively loud blanks on the set of his iconic film Die Hard. While he is decisively leaving the film industry, Willis does have several projects currently in post-production, including Fortress, Sniper's Eye, White Elephant, and Vendetta. Bruce had signed on to star in a 3rd installment of the Fortress films, but it's unclear what will become of that given his recent announcement. Other stars with aphasia. Sharon Stone, best known for her memorable roles in Basic Instinct and Casino, was enjoying a thriving acting career when she collapsed at her home in September 2001 after having a brain aneurysm. She subsequently endured cerebral hemorrhaging that persisted for 9 days. After being discharged from the hospital, Stone found out she had lost the ability to read and had been stricken with speech issues, including a noticeable stutter. Her inability to memorize lines and read basically ended her acting career at the time. Fortunately, with treatment and support from her family, friends, and fans, she was able to make a recovery and landed several film and TV roles that have earned her much praise. Grammy-winning country music star Randy Travis suffered a stroke in 2013 after being stricken with viral cardiomyopathy. He lost his ability to speak and comprehend language. Since being diagnosed with aphasia, he has given few interviews, and his ability to communicate has been extremely limited. Emilia Clarke is best known for her breakout role as Daenerys in Game of Thrones. In 2011, she suffered a subarachnoid hemorrhage caused by a ruptured aneurysm. She had to undergo emergency surgery and subsequently suffered from aphasia. At one point, she reportedly couldn't remember her name. Sadly, she had another aneurysm, which required surgical treatment in 2013. Fortunately, she has since recovered and continues to appear in films and television series, such as the upcoming animated feature The Amazing Maurice and 2017's Animals. Dick Clark, the iconic host of Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, The $10,000 Pyramid, and American Bandstand, suffered a major stroke in December of 2004. It left him paralyzed on the right side of his body and with aphasia. After taking a year to recover, he returned to his post for the popular New Year's Eve celebration and continued hosting until his death in 2012. Michael Hayden is a retired four-star Air Force general and former director of the NSA under the George W. Bush and Clinton administrations. He then served as director of the CIA under the Bush and Obama administrations. In 2018, he suffered a stroke just before Thanksgiving, which left him unable to read. He reportedly had to learn the entire alphabet over again from his 4-year-old grandson. Fortunately, Hayden retained his intelligence, but he has indeed lost the ability to read and write permanently. A few of his recent attempts at posting on Twitter have been indecipherable. Hayden has continued to work with speech therapists, and it seems as if his efforts have paid off. He recently made guest appearances on talk shows in which he's been able to clearly express his criticisms of former President Trump, systemic racism, and police brutality. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Bruce Willis role ever? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.